Guys and dolls, how are we doing? Squeeze a wee bit closer. There's a wee sound check. What's that button for? Wee bit bunkers, all good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, Ursula Chick, Vanda, Stuart, my loyal followers. Sound is good, mate. Thanks, Wade. Thank you, mate. Evening, Sarah. You meant to give me a sound check. Ilian Sloan, hello. Donkey, how you doing, son? Connor, Skylines, good to see you. Alright, Philip, good to see you, mate. Hope all's good, mate. Tired, mate, tired. It's been really eventful, as you can imagine. Yeah. Non-stop, mate. Non-stop. But yeah, good. Everything's good, you know, nothing too stressful. Right to be right. Still eating Freedom Dad. Yeah, not as much as I should be. But I am trying. Pick C40, Ronnie C, Alan, how you doing? Just Freedom Dad, well the team there's just me here in the room. Good work though. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I got your brother on today. I dragged an interview of him, and then it was really disturbed by Ryan. But brilliant footage, brilliant content. Couldn't make it up, you know. I mean, it almost looked like it was set up. Just amazing, and that's just the way it is, you know. Sometimes you just need to turn the camera on, guys, and something happens, you know. And yeah, it's non-stop right now. The ribeye steak was too big. Hiya, Mark. Hiya, Kaz. Good to see you today. Yeah, really good to put a face to the name as always. Noel, how you doing, mate? Great day today it was, Elaine. It was a really good day today. Yeah, for me, some of the speakers went on too long, and it's not a criticism, it's just me, man. It's just too much for me, you know what I mean? Gary Belfast, Freedom Dad, Sandy Rose shut down at the minute. Device allegedly. Okay. Keep it a good. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you so much. But yeah, tired, and it's my own fault. It's my own fault. Just being silly. Freedom Dad, I strongly suggest that you research the Fabian Society. I know about the Fabian Society. It will give you more information about what's going on. Yes, this is what drives me, William. You know, I know about the Fabian Society. It's just about walking out there for I think to bring. I try and deal with the way I deal with things, and what I'm trying to do is, you know, was watching, mate, as always. Wish I could be there a bit more person, but get respect for all who continue to stand for a better community. I know, mate, it's unfortunate. You know, hopefully that changes in the future. You know, hopefully a lot of people will feel a lot more easier and freer to attend these events. You know, and just to say today, even an amazing turnout, but it would have been even more if there wasn't so much going on today. You know what I mean? I'll be there. We'll be there. Carrick on the 18th. It's gonna be non-stop, like, because yeah, there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on in September, like. Yeah, the Fabian Society. Everybody's sort of talking about the Fabian Society right now. To be honest with you, Dino Bain's been talking about it for a wee while. You know, you got to give him credit. He's one of the first ones that I believe actually addressed the Fabian Society, and was one of the guys that got me to actually have a wee look at it myself. Yeah. And it's almost that far right there. It's unbelievable, and it's difficult to bring. It's difficult for me to bring to you because it just sounds mental. But yeah, maybe I will look into it and try and bring it to these in layman's terms. But what I'm going to do is let everybody else talk about it, so you sort of get used to it, and then I can come along and hopefully lay it down in layman's terms for everybody to understand a bit easier. Because I'm quite sure a lot of people will be like me. You know what I mean? It's just an awful lot of information, an awful lot of big words going back a long time. You know what I mean? But the general gist is, you know, a revolution to take over to take over the nation and turn it into a far left LGBTQ. Every foreigner is welcome around the world, no matter how bad you are, no matter what you do to our citizens. And that's basically what the Fabian Society is. And the difference is it's a revolution, but they've been doing it for a long time now, and they're taking it. It's been set up to work over a period of maybe 40 or 50 years. You know what I mean? So it's people here planning things that are no longer here, and people that have taken their place are planning things when they won't be here neither. So that's the gist of it. That's the facts of it. That's the one thing I can give you right now. It is a group of people who are very intelligent and have been working very hard and very behind the scenes, think tanks and all sorts of madness, lots of funding, lots of money to do whatever they want and come up with ways of destroying our nation, destroying patriots, silencing patriots, everything to do with Tommy Robinson and everybody else that was affected back in the day from being silenced. The social network platforms bringing people down and shutting people down and stopping people's free speech because the government were asking to. That was all the Fabian Societies behind that. Tony Blair's been a big sponsor of it, you know what I mean? He's played a big part, and it's quite wide-reaching. You know, it's got arms and tentacles that go into Europe and into like the Bidens and things like that. So yeah, it just goes along with everything what we're saying about the destruction of the nation, but we're starting to get more information of totally understanding it. I just keep it simple, you know. Bad men are coming into the country, the government are allowing it happening, they're doing a lot of damage to our citizens, and the government is still allowing it happening, i.e. that means the government are traitors and they don't care about the citizens, they don't care about the children, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands, they don't care about them. You know, your government are meant to be your mother, your father, look after you. Home Office meant to protect you, stop these men coming in. They're not. So, you know, well, we don't need to know. Us as patriots don't need to know about the Fabian and the plans and what they're doing. We can see it with our own eyes. Yeah, we can work out who's responsible once we fix it. That's where I'm at with it. I'm not here to talk about why, who, when, and whatever. I'm here to tell you what's going on right at this minute, how we can stop it, and how it isn't inhumane or far right or racist. It's just logical, sensible conclusions to how to stop bad things happening to your country and stopping bad people coming into your country. And if it means a total cessation of all immigration until we can take stock of what we've got because we've no idea what's going on, then that's what we need to do. And it's a common sense. It's just common sense going forward. We're not saying stop immigration. You know what I mean? We know who the good guys are. We know who the people that are here working really hard and putting into our society and all the rest of it. You know, so it's not hard to work out. You know, we don't. You know, when we say a complete cessation, I think there's enough people in here to choose, like for the jobs that we don't want to do, and the doctors and nurses. I think truly now there's enough people. But like I say, guys, 1.5 billion, 1.5 billion a month is going out. Now, this is a conservative figure that I've worked out myself, right? 1.5 billion a month in social benefits to men and women that have come into this country either illegally or through a treacherous government visa plan, you know. That's a month, you know. You want to add that up for a year, then 2, 3 years, 4 years, what could we be doing with that money? And then there's all the rest, you know. You need to look into interpreters. You really have to have a look and see how much our government are paying out in interpreters, you know. Across the board. It's not just in courts and police and everything else. It's in every walk of life. It's social benefits, social anything that these guys need or come across in government or council. They need interpreters, and they get interpreters because the interpreters help them get what they want. You know, and so it's a complete farce. It's completely criminal and illegal. Everything that's going on with these people, and then we have the likes of our media saying that it's all good, bringing Abdul and Hamad on to the Nolan show, you know, to try and justify this madness, you know, and it just made our people even more angry because the guys over here left his fucking wife and kids behind, you know what I mean, without a care in the world. And basically admitted he was here to get what he can get, you know what I mean? And that's he was just being honest, you know. Fuck a cheap man, you know. Let's not crucify the guy because he's being honest, you know what I mean? Nolan did ask him the questions, then he gave him the answers. You know, so that's where we're at. We're at a situation where everybody that cares about this country, everybody who has children and are invested, whether it's aunties, uncles, grannies, granddads, whatever, mothers, fathers, obviously, they're the ones that are doing the most shouting and the most fighting and are going to be standing up for a very long time, while the ones who are trying to destroy the country are spending every bit of their effort to put us down. Has you seen the day? Now, you've seen the photographers over there today. Now, that's a first. That is the first, okay? I've been doing this now a long time, and that's the first that they've come in. And they were long lens cameras. And I do believe that if they are not the police, they are working for the police. And the police, when they say they're freelance journalists, I imagine the government are paying them. That's why we got the photographs today. We're going to look into it. Freedom of Information Act and all that, you know what I mean? Get some names, the faces, and then we can find out who they truly are, what they're doing with the photographs as they're taking of us. Because it is a free, you know, listen, I'm a cameraman. You can take my photograph all day long. The problem is what gets wrote with the photograph, you know what I mean? But even with that, I've got no control over that. But, you know, it's interesting today that there wasn't a single police car. And everywhere Freedom Dad goes, the camera on top of the Land Rovers are apart from the day. And the simple reason why there was no police or cameras of the day, because they sent in the freelance photographers to photograph everybody that was there. And every single photograph that them boys have taken will land on the decks of either Special Branch, Intelligence, or Lisburn Police Barracks. There's no two ways about it, you know what I mean? And, you know, obviously they'll sell them to whoever wants them, you know? And this is who these people are. You understand? They don't care about the women that are standing there talking about children being raped. They don't care about that. They're just wanting the money on the backs of these women. Them men with photographs, taking photographs, are making good money of the misery of our society. And I went up to one of them and I did say to him that he wasn't welcome, but you know, there was nothing we could do to stop him. But you know, people were saying to me, "What the fuck?" So I was the first one to go over and like, fair enough. Do what you want to do. You know what I mean? We're not happy about it. We don't want our photographs taken because they're being used in a malicious way, you know. And he's like, freelance. And I said, fair enough, you know what I mean. And then there was a crowd around him and all the rest of it. You know, like I say, I was the first one to go up just to say, listen, people aren't happy. You know, he didn't want to listen and he carried on doing what he was doing. But this is the thing. This is how we know who they are. You get me? They have the backing of the police. These photographs are for the police. That's why they're photographing right in your face. That's why they're standing there in my ear, clicking away as I'm doing the videos, just to annoy me. Because honestly, probably the police themselves, probably undercover, you know. And we'll find all this out. And this is the depths of what we're going to. And this is why we're clever, because we're aware of the tactics of what they're up to, what they're doing, and how much focus they have on us. And it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And it's nuts for us to see journalists and these fucking, whatever you want to call them, freelancers that are selling these photographs. You know what I mean? That's part and parcel. But it's the fact that our police and our government, who are meant to look after us, you know, me being in children's homes, losing my mum when I was 8, being abused in care, going through what I went through in every fucking prison, the solitary confinement that I suffered, the beatings and all the rest of it. It's all on record, all the way through my life. And I came out of it okay, you know what I mean? Brutality on another level, growing up in the 80s, 70s and the 80s. There was no human rights for children or young prisoners in Highbank or Rathgale, you know? And or in school, you know what I mean? Or in school, you were brutalised, you were caned, you were beat, you know what I mean? And yeah, I had problems. I'd lost my mum, you know what I mean? Fucking the only person I had in my life. So yeah, of course I had problems, but nobody ever spoke to me. I never seen a psychologist or anybody like that until I was like, what, 4 years ago? 4 years ago, because I was going through compensation for what I went through. So yeah, you know, we are the product of Northern Ireland. We are the product of the working class. We are the most vulnerable. Most days are the most vulnerable. And because of what we've been through, maybe a wee bit of anger, maybe a wee axe to grind, you know what I mean? I don't hold any hate, you know what I mean? Of course I'm angry the way I've been treated, but you know, this is the thing. This is the government that's done this to the kids of this country. Never mind the kids in Rotherham, Rochdale and Halifax and all these countries up these cities up and down the breadth of England where children were brutalised, you know. I'm talking about Northern Ireland and the kids that are growing up in the adulthood in their 50s today, 50s and 60s, Generation X that you see standing out there. So that's who they're targeting, you know. And yes, we're not perfect. Yes, we make mistakes. And maybe they don't like the style of some of the Patriots. But we've got no option. We are not having a Rochdale or a Rotherham or a Luton in this country. We are not changing our churches into mosques. We are not bringing in foreigners into this country just to replace us and replace our grandchildren. We are not losing our bonfires. We are not losing our 12th of July. And we're going to make sure it's there for another 100 years. And if we have to take the Republican side with us and make sure we protect ours, we will do that as well. You know, like I say, the war's over. The conflict's over. Yeah, there's a couple of wee tender things that are going about. The few dissidents and the Palestinians all trying to revive the hatred. You know what I mean? But that's all going to die down. They're just burning in embers right now that will eventually just die away as the years go on. No two ways about it. You know, no two ways about it. And you know, this is the reality of it all. This is the facts. You know what I mean? Every man around me has been through some terrible things in life. You know what I mean? Some terrible, you know, because of the conflict, because of the way things were. You know, there's guys around me that could tell you stories that would break your fucking heart. You know what I mean? And they're not bad men, but they've been surrounded by bad men growing up. You know, a lot of bad things going on, and you know, they are good guys. Every one of them are really, really good guys. But yes, they do have shady past, and that's what they focus on. You know what I mean? Because we are the most vulnerable. We are the kids that grew up in the worst parts of Belfast, East Belfast, South Belfast, Shankill, Sandy Row, Londonderry. You know what I mean? Armagh, the boys up there. You know, Portadown and all that, man. You know, we all had our own battles. You know, our own issues that were really serious in each of these areas. And it's these areas right now, Ballymena as well, that's being affected. You've got to understand that. It's not just a coincidence that all these young guys from working class areas, from some of the roughest parts in Belfast, are coming in on the streets, getting a voice, doing TikToks, doing YouTubes. It's not a coincidence. There's no money being made, you know. That was the first time I was able to get Pinky on camera today. You know what I mean? He doesn't even want to be on camera. There's no egos involved. We're genuine concerned parents who lived in the most vulnerable areas in Northern Ireland, grew up in vulnerable areas on the streets of Northern Ireland, through the battles, through the riots, through the bombs, through the shootings, and now we find ourselves in a place where everything that we've done in the past seems inadequate compared to what's coming. You know, we thought the Provos were bad, but this is different. You know, this is different. We're all Christians, you know what I mean? We would have always sorted it out between us no matter what. You know what I mean? There was no way it would have kept on going, especially with the surveillance and technology and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? The days of paramilitaries operating like they used to, it's gone. The tech out there that the intelligence service and the police have is second to none right now, second to none. And they know more about me than I probably know about me. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. That's the way everybody's got to assume if you're involved in this or involved in anything. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is, you know, we're not doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? We're not, you know, we're not doing it. We're not racist. You know what I mean? Like when they keep on, like Nolan keeps going, they're walking about pulling foreigners. No, they're walking about the streets at night, Nolan. And there's foreigners there, okay? Right? I've seen all the videos. It's not all foreigners, and we're not going to prove it. You know what I mean? If Pinky needs to prove anything in court, it'll be there, okay? But don't sit there rubbing your mouth off when you haven't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on. Calling the Shankill, saying them things about the Shankill rest, bringing it onto your show and making them Shankill people that are out doing all that, disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And you've got so much more hate coming now because of that from them people for making them out. Whoever you get on, you know what I mean? And then bringing a dissident on, you know, bringing a Republican on your show to slate a loyalist Facebook page, you know. And how do we know he's a dissident? Because he said scum 5 times. That's hatred like no other. We know, you know, when you're going on scum and they're scum and they're scum, you're a dissident. You're a hateful person that cannot stand anything to do with the Protestant religion. And that's who he had on the show, along with Abdul and Hamid. You know, while this is all going on, that's the rhetoric of BBC, as always, you know. And this is what I'm trying to get, guys. The BBC are one of the most corrupt and, you know, things I want to say that I can't say. Just look at the statue outside the BBC. Just Google the statue outside the BBC headquarters in England. Just Google that. Put in sexual crimes and BBC, you know, and you got to understand that this is the problem that we've got. We have people who have went through private school and they're millionaires, and they've done everything they want. They can have everything they want, so they go dark. and then they get compromised. And this is the type of people who are running the show, both media and government in mainland. I'm not going to say about our government. I'm talking about the mainland government. Um, that's where we're at. That's who's up against us. These are the type of people that are up against me and you, the patriots and the parents of Northern Ireland. And, you know, it's sad that there's men and women sitting listening to Stephen and Nolan and actually believing the nonsense that he talks and that people that he gets on. Whilst when he's spotted in the town by CJ, got nothing to say because he can't say nothing. And you're going to see that because there's going to be more opportunities, I've got no doubt about it, where he's going to be asked some serious hard questions. And you're going to see the response of the BBC when they're not behind the studio. You know, citizen journalists are all over now. Everybody's now looking for an interview on the street with Stephen Nolan. Everybody's got questions for Stephen Nolan because we now can ask questions. You didn't know that, did you? But we can ask questions on the street just like they can as reporters. You know, just as he did in East Belfast or Shankill, and he was asking random people random questions about and whatever. You know what I mean? You can do that as well. He's a journalist. He's reporting on lies. He's reporting on stuff that's doing the most damage to our future our children and our grandchildren. So we've got every right to question that at any opportunity. And yeah, we will never interact. CJ wants to go on the Nolan show, and there's others like Jamie Bryson and all that. That's a totally different kettle of fish. But we as patriots will not interact with mainstream media. It's as simple as, if Nolan wants to come on the Freedom Dad show, or if Nolan wants to come on the CJ show, the CJ Audit show, bang on, you know, all day long, you know what I mean? But we are not entertaining it. They're not going to get Freedom Dad. It's as simple as that. And I can't speak for every patriot, but that's the feeling, guys. And it's just because of I'd love to, you know, this is the thing. I don't know anybody, and this is on my mother's grave, right? In the last, say, 3 months, I have not met anybody in any walk of life in Northern Ireland that's had one good thing to say about Stephen Nolan. And that's who represents the journalism, along with Alison Morris. This is who they pick to bring the people that are older or elderly who don't know any better, listening to the nonsense that comes out of these two guys, these two people's mouths. And that's the saddest thing. That is the saddest thing, because people actually don't have a clue, you know. It's only if you're on the streets and they're talking about what you're around or what you know, or if you're able to go and talk to people. Like when he talked about the Shankill, I got messages from women that were breaking their fucking hearts, asking me when can I get down to interview them. I will be going down maybe tomorrow, and I will bring in, we will be bringing the clip of the Nolan show and letting you hear what was said, and then we're going to let you hear from the people that they were talking about, and so you can see the hypocrisy and the nonsense and it's all planned. It's all done. There's people at the top that tell Nolan what to do. There's a rhetoric to be pushed. We've got to shut these patriots down. The community are falling in love with these guys. Everybody respects him. Why is that? He's a bank robber. He's a hunter. What the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? And it's, you know, so they're working as hard as they can to get as much dirt, and they make us look as bad or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've got moves. We can speak for ourselves. You know what I mean? We've got all our friends who's been with us from day one, since we were born to the day. And everybody in our communities knows everybody in our communities, you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. So they can do what they want, but when people meet Freedom Dad in the street, or anybody that knows Freedom Dad, they know Freedom Dad is a genuine, really good soul, and too loyal, far too loyal, far too loyal. And, you know, I love me. I've always loved me. I sleep every night like a baby and wake up really happy because I've never let myself down. I bet you these reporters can't say that, you know. So sorry, guys. 146 in, 64 likes. I don't care if you don't put likes and all that up, guys. I'm just talking about the day. So yeah, Rand's out as well. I'm just going to run through everything, guys, as much as I can, and then you can throw your comments back up again. So I just want to say a big thank you to all the speakers today, and everybody come up and said hello. Everybody wanted photographs. Like, it's just absolutely amazing. Even leaving it, there was a guy when I was leaving, was walking along a footpath, came out of Stormount, and I was on my own walking along, and a guy approached me, and he goes, Freedom Dad, I love everything you're doing, don't stop and all the rest. And he goes, but if there's anything I need you to do, let me know. And like, we don't need anything, we're okay, you know what I mean? But thank you so much, mate, and come up and say hello again. It was in a wee bit of a rush because we had things to do, and so I apologise. I do try and talk to everybody. You've just got to come up and grab me and say hello. And like I say, I don't like walking about, expecting people, oh, Freedom Dad. I don't see it like that, you know what I mean? So you have to forgive me if I don't look at you or say hello to you. I don't know anybody really, you know what I mean? You've got to come up and introduce yourself, and I'll, whatever you want to chat about. A lot of people say, can I speak to you about something? And yeah, I have got time for anybody that wants to chat about anything I'm doing, at any of the demos, because you're just Patriots. I want to say a big thank you to Ryan for jumping in when he jumped in. Absolutely amazing, you know what I mean? I'm so chuffed that he's out. And I know the love he got from the people in Ballymena. Of course, there was a few hateful comments because they don't know him. They don't realise who he is and what he's about. And they must have thought he was drunk or on drugs, you know what I mean? We don't have anybody like that around, isn't it? We shouldn't really talk about stuff like that because we don't need to. We'd assume you would know. We would be very thingy about anybody that's alcoholics or drug addicts or anything like that. We can't. We would, anybody around us like that, we would help. But we would, if they don't take the help, then there's nothing we can do. You know what I mean? But I can assure you, there's nobody like that around us. And a lot of people were thinking that, you know what I mean, because of behaviour. But obviously ADHD and it's the working class, you know what I mean? It's the working class. He does TikToks, he's a TikToker, you know what I mean? And he's got, if you think I've got energy, this boy's on another level. And he's an absolutely amazing, beautiful soul. And I don't say that about many guys, you know what I mean? But this guy, Ryan, who you seen getting arrested, is an absolutely amazing. If you were to stand in front of him and get a chat with him, you see in his eyes, you can see in his eyes that there's not a bit of harm there. He's an absolutely amazing, kind person, and this is the madness of it all. This is the madness of it all. You see the arrest and all that, and the police cars everywhere, and the Land Rover with the camera, and dragging him out of the car, knowing Pinky's got to get back for bail conditions and got to be in at a certain time. So they knew what they were doing, and it's just part and parcel of what we're up against. You know what I mean? And it will get worse before it gets better. There's no two ways about it. Like I say, they are out to get us all, guys. Operation done together. David Nick, can't really endorse that right now, mate. I'll fucking end up in the jail for fucking reading that comment out, I think, mate, It's still live, been all day. What is, it's still live, been all day? So yeah, thanks for the support, guys. Foxy Lad, brilliant man. Foxy Lad is home for a week, and he's been jumping about with Freedom Dad and the team and Pinky and the team, you know what I mean? And yes, he's been here, there, and everywhere. He wanted a wee experience. He's got it. He got that experience, so he has. And for 24 hours, so I know you've had a good time, mate. And this is what it's about. Some of you guys have been here a long time, and if you want to be involved, you just got to hook up. You know where we are. If you're in Northern Ireland, just come up and say, hi, I'm such and such. You know what I mean? I want to go out on a night walk. We want to either Ballymena, Shankill. We can arrange it. You want to make sure you go to a demo or something like that. We can make sure you get a notification when it's coming up and stuff like that. We can help out. We do a lot of behind the work scenes and networking, keeping people together and never leaving anybody behind. You know what I mean? That's okay, mate. David, Nick, you knock yourself out there, my man. Fair play to you, son. Alan posted link. Good man. So what else to talk about? Yes, so before we go any further as well, I want to say a big thank you to the Bangor Protestant boys for an amazing 15th anniversary parade and a big thank you to all the Proddy boy bands that came from all around Northern Ireland and Belfast. And I have got the live there, but it's 3.5 hours long. I am going to cut it down. I am going to spend a half a day on this because it's 3.5 hours and there's a lot of work. Because there's like the band's going out, the band's coming in, I want to put them coming together. I want them coming out and coming in, one band, the same band, on one bit of footage, you know what I mean? And I want to get a cent to each band just to say thank you. There's the work I've done. I've put it all together and edit, and hopefully it turns out good and hopefully they'll like it, you know what I mean? Like I say, I do it different than a lot of guys. I've got permission to get in close to the bands and stuff like that on certain band parades, not every band parade, but yeah, I'm able to get into the drums and show you the way the drums work, the lead tip and how the lead tip goes on, and then move on to just the system of the bands. And I wanted to get across the just how amazing it is, how beautiful it is, how in sync, how much work and discipline is put in. When you see our colour with the girls all, and I wanted to show you their feet. I know it sounds a bit easy, probably going, what's he doing? I just need you to see the marking time. I need to see, you need to see how much work these guys and girls put into doing this, and how much effort, and it has to be shown as for what it is. It's amazing, it's beautiful, and it puts the other ones to shame, you know what I mean? And I'm just saying, guys, you know what I mean? It's like night and day. It's like night and day, they do try and do what we do, the Republican side of things, but it's not there for them. And I'll maybe do a wee comparison if I'm in a bad mood some night. I'll show you ours and then I'll show you theirs and I'll put them together. It'll be quite funny, but that's just me having a wee bit of a tickle, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was an amazing night. I'm not sure how many bands were there in total, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I am looking forward to doing all the edits and getting as many of the bands as much as I can for them together and getting it out to each group and Facebook page or whatever, you know what I mean? And then I'll just get an edited bit so there's no spaces, me running up and down the road, take all that out, and it's just band after band, you know what I mean? And he's maybe some night if there's nothing to do, it's how we watch it. I think it's good, you know what I mean? Be raccoon, that's like comparing chicken shit to chicken soup. Well, yeah, it is. You're right. Window man, CJ in. Sink, I know, absolutely amazing. Be wheeling, absolutely amazing. A beautiful sight. It's beautiful. It's something that I take great pleasure in filming, and I really try and do the guys justice. I don't like getting too many faces in, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think they're all quite proud. You know what I mean? Thank you, Stuart. My feet are so sore, by the way. You are wild to keep up with. I'm sorry, Caitlin, but you will get used to it. Keep it up, Freedom Dad. Praying for you. Keep safe. Thanks, Alan. Kaz, get yourself a couple of few hours sleep. You're going to need it with upcoming weeks. Yes, you're right. I don't even want to think about that right now. Irish off the weekend, mate. Irish off for weekend, mate. What TC, mucker? What? I don't know what TC means, guys. Sorry. What TC? What time? No. Is it what? Why? Who? An Irish off. Irish off for weekend, mate. What the? See you, mucker? I can't fucking. Sorry, mate. See, biscuit, fuck off. That was a good wee turnout last night. It was indeed, yes. Yes, Caitlin, a big round of applause for Caitlin. You know what I mean? Absolutely amazing job. I'm going to have a word about the TikTok, Caitlin. And I know your TikToks were good and you're putting them up on thingy, but you can screen record mine. It's better footage. you can do that, do whatever you want with it, you know what I mean? But yeah. CJ Hoddits, thanks for coming in, mate. Good to see you today again, man. We didn't have much time together. We got a wee McDonald's together, it was all good. He was in the area heading out with Foxy Lad, so obviously, and thank you for taking Foxy Lad on today, mate. Really, really nice of you. He's just a subscriber, just one of the boys from Northern Ireland who has been following CJ and myself for however, and he got a taste of what it was like with CJ today. I'm looking forward to watching the videos. I really am. I need to catch up. I need to watch his interview, and I need to watch what he's done today, and I need to catch up with Lindsay Brown. Lindsay Brown was in Newry today, and I heard she had a bit of a time today. So if you can go on to Lindsay Brown, I'm not too sure. If somebody can put the link up, guys, to Lindsay Brown's YouTube page. I think it's time we started growing Lindsay Brown's YouTube page a wee bit more. If she's going to be doing stuff like that, then yes, you need to watch it, because she's tiny. She's tiny, and I'm up against it with them guys. I don't know how she fared, but I heard she had a hard time. So I want you to give her plenty of support, guys. Yeah, big up, Foxy Lad. Well done, mate. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean, guys. You're us. we are you. I've said this from day one. I don't know how long some of you have been here. A lot of you have been here from the start. Over 700 videos, over a year. And I've always said this, there's no difference between me and you. You know what I mean? No difference between me and Foxy Lad. There was Foxy Lad with me, you know, last night, helped me out, jumping about with me at the bands. And there he was with CJ in the town, doing what we do normally with the Palestinians, watching CJ's back. Foxy Lad is used. Anybody can get involved. You know, we're not a secret society. You know, we don't care about getting infiltrated. You know, there's nothing anybody can do. I can do videos every night telling you everybody what we're doing. You know, we record everything. So there's no skullduggery. There's no hidden agenda. What you see is what you get. And there's nothing anybody can do by infiltrating us. You know, there's nothing, you know, like I say, these guys that are taking photographs thought they were being clever. The government, they think they're being clever. Oh, we'll pull the police back. You know what I mean? And we'll send in the photographers, you know what I mean? All jumping about with the big, you know, the big lenses. We're in a wee tiny bit of park, you know what I mean? And they've got the big lenses. The big lenses is the stand back and the catch, like me and Pinky talking, or Pinky and or anybody talking to Freedom Dad, or a group of guys together, just so they can give it all to the intelligence services. And that's where we're at. There's no other reason. You know, who's going to pay the big bucks for them to stand there all day? 3 of them. Think about it, guys. 3. In a little gathering like that, and they're all there because they're going to sell the photographs. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Okay, dokie. Mark Story, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to. I haven't caught up with anything yet, so I haven't. I did when I got back here. I got a shower, got a wee bite to eat, and I lay down. Just couldn't sleep. A lot going on in my head. Couldn't sleep. There was no point. You know, kept thinking of stuff, and we had all different ideas. Yeah. Lindsay's. I've never ever fell out with Lindsay. You know, we just, you know, like it's like what you said. I'm Freedom Dad, right? I sit here as one entity, and I only do what people ask me to do. If people need help or a hand, I'm in there. You know what I mean? And I'll help any patriot. I've got no problems at all. And that's all it is. Lindsay doesn't need Freedom Dad's help. You know what I mean? She's like me, our own entity. And when we meet, we hug each other, interview each other. No big deal, you know what I mean? But we're all in different lanes. We've all got different things what we're doing, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of time. Keep up good work. Need to go to the mosque in Dunmurry and get a video. Okay, Mark. We have the car and number plate. LOL. I knew yous would have. Freedom Dad Jerry Kelly was going to us. My questions today, only security and police stepped in. Yes, so CJ Audits was there. Jerry Kelly turned up today at the Palestinian demo, you know. And all right, I'm going to be a wee bit big-headed and think that maybe, just maybe, he was there to catch Freedom Dad, because I've spoke about Jerry Kelly when we were in the jail together. And because Freedom Dad's been turning up all the time. Nothing against you, CJ, but I've just got this little thing that maybe he was, and yeah, I wasn't there. CJ was there, and he did try, and the security went all around CJ, you know what I mean? And, you know, stopped the interview, you know what I mean? So they shot it. They all shot it for fucking CJ, you know what I mean? There's Nolan shot it, and there's Jerry Kelly shot it, you know what I mean? Jeez, oh man, you're some boy, CJ Audits, honestly, man. You're bigger than you know. Don't mess with Dundee lassies. You better believe it. The ginger girl arena has to wait till 8 a.m. to sign on to job seekers. Oh, she can't get job seekers. She'll have too much money in the bank. You know what I mean? You know, yeah. But we're nothing there for her. She may get her housing benefit paid. You never know. Oh my God, I wish you had been there. I wish I had been there. I can't be everywhere. I wanted to be in Newry. I wanted to be in Belfast. I wanted to be at Stevie's demo. You know what I mean? The great province way that was like, you know, if I could break myself into 3 bits, I would have done it, guys, I promise. But yeah. Foxy Lad asked Jerry Kelly to talk to you. 1, 2, 1. Funniest. Brilliant, thank you, Foxy Lad. So Foxy Lad's actually said that Jerry Kelly, Freedom Dad, wants a chat, you know, so yeah, interesting. We'll see where that goes, you know what I mean? But forgive me for jumping ahead, but I'm wondering what the lay of the land will look like after the Tommy Robinson demo. Yeah, I don't know, Window Man. I really don't know. I cannot answer that at all. What was the lay of, the lay of the land after the last one? No disrespect to anybody, but things he knows that. Everybody knows that. We're talking as patriots who love Tommy for what he's been through and everything. So we have to be open and honest and not be a scared to offend and all the rest of it. But yeah, you know, something more needs to come. You know, it's like the government keep going. They talk about like grooming gangs and immigration and the damage it's doing to all the essays around the country. They just like I do. That's what the politicians are doing, exactly what I do. You know what I mean? Because I don't have the answers. I don't have the solutions. You know, well, I do, but who listens to me? You know what I mean? But that's all they do. They just go, oh, this is happening and this is happening. This is bad. We're not happy about this and this, that, and that, because we're saying it. Because the people are angry. So they're just saying what they expect the people to say, but they've no clue what they're going to do about it. That's it. That's as far as it goes. You know what I mean? So yeah, something needs to happen. We all agree on that, don't we? We all need to agree on that. Yes, I know. I know, that was funny. That was funny. I might dig that out and do a wee TikTok with it, actually. She went to homestead immigrants. Good one, Brand. Kieran. Kira. Kieran. Fucking hell, man. Housing benefit in 3 houses. She'd try it, lol. I know. Yeah, land over something, yeah. Seen that. Aye. CJ is a gig. Takes no prisoners. Oh, honestly, you want to see him a day. Well, I'm not gonna say nothing. Well, I'm quite sure the videos will come. You know, you can't leave him, right? I swear to God, right? I swear, honest to God, like, doesn't matter where you go with CJ. You go for a coffee, you go for a McDonald's, you sit down for 10 minutes to get a break, you turn around and he's right into something. I mean, he's right into something, you know what I mean? I'm sitting having the McDonald's a day, right? We all met up, you know, he was in the area passing by and we said, come on, jump in. He was with Foxy Lad, you know what I mean? Like CJ does his own thing. He doesn't jump about like with Freedom Dad and we just end up at the same places. You gotta, please don't, there's no connection between CJ and anybody in the East or anybody else, you know what I mean? Any of the walking groups. CJ's an auditor, okay? Let's always remember that. But I like him. He's my friend. We you know, we cover each other's backs. We share footage and all that. And he was passing by East Belfast. We told him we were at McDonald's and we all sat down and had a McDonald's and I think it was about 10 years all together. And took my eyes off him for 2 minutes, man. He's in the middle of the car park with 3 fucking foreigners around him. You know what I mean? And you know, you couldn't make it up. And all he was doing was like just doing his MOT checks. You know what I mean? Because they're coming out of cars. Oh, it was madness. Absolutely madness. But that's CJ. And I could tell you story after story like that. You know what I mean? It's like he says, like he says, like that camera is a magnet for clowns. I swear to God. He lifts his camera up anywhere he goes and the clowns just come. Honest to God, like I'm just standing there going, fucking hell, I don't know whether I film it or just have a laugh, you know what I mean? It's nuts, like, but yeah, I'm quite sure whatever he's been up to the day in his lunch break will probably find its way online eventually. Yeah, he's got more content. He's got more content he knows what to do with, I think. You know, but he's gonna have to bring in people soon. You know what I mean? Start up on our channel so he can offload the content. But fair play to him. He's an absolute brilliant auditor. He's absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, he's a professional. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm quite proud to be a friend. You know what I mean? And like even through all the madness I've been through, he's always been there and always been giving me advice and telling me off and criticizing me, which is really good. You know, because not many people do that. You know, not many people phone you up and give you fucking hardcore criticism. You know what I mean? So yeah, fair play to CJ. Just a brilliant guy. Like I say, you know, Freedom Dad wouldn't have anybody that's fucking not a nice human being. It would upset everything. Nothing would run right. Yeah, why you filming me then the rage? Yeah, mate, I know, I know. No, I haven't got the name of him yet, mate. I see, to be honest with you, Martin, you know, it's, you know, I don't have it in me to be chasing things up like that, you know, and a lot of people will be really pissed off at me, you know what I mean? But like, I just don't have it in me to do that. You know what I mean? And it doesn't give fucking people the green light to just come up and hit me a punch in the nose and spit in my face because I'm not going to squeal on you. I fucking will. I promise you, this is fucking. I'm telling you now. I will fucking drop you the next time. You know what I mean? But no, it's difficult. You know, I expect the police to do their work. You know, that's fucking all I expect. It was on film. It's on live. You know what I mean? The cops seen it. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure they can watch the live and see it. They go onto my Facebook. There he is. That's who it is. You can prove it's him. You know, all the rest of it. And yeah, they film us enough, so I'm quite sure they got it all in film. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, guys. You know what I mean? Um, when you're there, cheers, mate. Cheers. See it, CJ. When you're there and in the emotions, and you know that that's how they act. You know, because I didn't feel good about running to the police. I'll be honest with you, like I really didn't. We even don't be honest with you. You know what I mean? Even watching it back, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, he's spatting me. He's spatting me. That's what it felt. It feels like to me. You know what I mean? And yeah, so the whole thing didn't feel right, didn't sit right with me, and yeah, it's at the end of the day, my justice is letting you see who these people are. You know, that's the justice I get. The justice I get is letting my people in Northern Ireland, both Protestants and Catholics, this is who these Palestinian supporters are. They're dissidents. They're Philippine. Are you in, mate? If you're in, could you phone your brother and tell him I'm on a live, and if he needs me to phone the other phone, if there's anything wrong. Is that back to normal, guys? If somebody can give him a phone that's in the house, make sure everything's all right. I don't like phone calls when I'm on a live because all my mates know I'm on a live. So if I get a phone call on a live, then there's something fucking wrong. I'm telling everyone who will listen about the piece of shit spitting on you. Thank you, Annette. You know, but like I say, that's all I need. I don't need to go to the police. I don't need to. He's going to plead not guilty. I'm going to have to go to court. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to stand there and in the dark and point them out and all that carry on. I wouldn't do that, and I'm not going to waste everybody's time to get in that stage and then going, you know what, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? He's fucking been exposed. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at. We're exposing them for who they truly are. You know, when they're like, you're down here and you're not welcome. You've seen the videos where they're like, you're down here and nobody wants you. You're not welcome. Nobody likes you. And I'm like, I can see that. So why are you here? Because the world needs to see this. Why does the world need to see this? Because there's no mainstream media here. This is my city hall. This is my city. There's not a Northern Ireland flag, Ulster flag, or tricolour anywhere around here. And I think everybody in Northern Ireland needs to see who you truly are. And they didn't like that. They did not like that. That's when I think they all went up, you know what I mean? And got my hat flicked off and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it just shows you who they are, who these people truly are, you know? Whether has a Catholic in a Catholic area, do you look at these men and women and look at them as your own folk? Do you look at them as people you want to walk side by side going into the future, knowing what they're doing and what their plans are for the future of your children? So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. You know what I mean? I don't need, what he's done, the anger. Same with the phone call, the Nolan show, the guy going scum, 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 scum. Hatred, anger on another level. You don't never get that from me. You never ever see any anger coming from me to them. I've had my hat flicked off. I've been pushed. I've been slobbered at. I've been called an unaliver of Catholics. I've been called all sorts, you know what I mean? And I've been spat on. And never once did I get angry. And then you look at the anger coming from him, you know? Because I've just got sadness when it comes to this shit because I don't understand how men, apparently are freedom fighters, or want to destroy their own country just despite their nose. Brits out, foreigners in, get it uppies. See how you're doing with that in 40 years' time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is sad. That's why I don't get angry. I pity them. I know they're getting smaller. And, that's it. That's it. We are civil. Yes, CJ, we are civil every time. We're not going to get anywhere. I'm never going to get anywhere being angry and aggressive and slobbering, you know what I mean? I come with facts. I come with specific facts. If they're saying one thing, I bring the other argument to it. And that's just the other opinion. And they don't like it. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Because, yeah, that is a very good idea. I fucking better read it out. Kieran. Freedom Dad, any word of you and CJ and other citizen journalists in Northern Ireland getting a WhatsApp group or something like that set up so that we can submit something we feel needs highlighting? You know, I don't know how that really would go, you know what I mean? Um, we're all individual, you know what I mean? We don't want to be grouped up like that, I don't think, don't think it's just, I am thinking of maybe some sort of union, you know what I mean? So any problems we can sort it out, you know what I mean? And things like that, and a sharing process with footage, and you know, just turning up at different demos and doing different things. If we need, if somebody go here, somebody go there, rather than everybody go to one thing, maybe we could use that. CJ has been doing this the longest, so he would always be the one out there leading everything as far as the Palestinians and dealing with the police and all that carry on. But no, I think just like I do get overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, but I'm able to pass that on to other guys, So we have got a system. There's a lot of stuff. Andy, I think you've sent me a lot of stuff, so I'm going to pass that on to somebody who's more tuned for all that, because there's a lot of information that I cannot process because of the way my head works. You know what I mean? That's why I don't read off papers and like don't have notes or nothing. It makes things worse for me. But yeah, anything like that, you can send it to any one of us. You've got Pinky East Belfast that's on TikTok, so you can message him there. In fact, I don't think you can message him anymore. I think they've stopped that. There you go. He can't send messages or receive messages on his TikTok. Just that simple thing. But he can do everything else. But yeah, you've got me and you've got CJ. CJ's on YouTube, TikTok, and most days there should be on X as well. So there's always a way of getting in touch. And also there's emails, and I will get emails stack up, and then I go through them all in one day. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking, CJ. I just didn't want to sound like a paranoid nut job. You know what I mean? Hi, I've seen today's video. Many thanks for keeping me informed on today's dominant demo. Thank you. Telegram, yeah. Said, see, we've got nothing to hide. We don't need to use any covert. Like just simply message freedom.fd on Facebook. I've got guys that people who I trust with my life dealing with that, and anything that I need to look at, they pin it, and then I can go on and look at it. And I always have we look as well at your messages and stuff like that, and anybody. Because they don't, there's a lot of friends and all that I've known for a long time that they don't know, and they see a message and they just think it, you know what I mean? Because obviously I'm being inundated with stuff. So we're trying to like triage. I never thought I'd use that word before, but like triaging the information, you know what I mean? And Annette, I think your attitude to incident is the best for him. You have a life. But Neil spoke well today at Newry. Niall spoke well. Oh, fuck, was Niall there? Arr. I was watching Lindsay. Good. Nice work, to be honest. Nice. Mine works well, to be honest. If I ever get Freedom Dad's email address, I'm sending him up to every dating website. Thanks for putting that idea into everybody's head. Thanks for putting that idea into Super Pats's head who's watching right now. Yeah, they are, Philip. They're getting Ulsterman. Oh, was Nell at Newry protest? I haven't seen it. Lindsay Brown, I think's done it. I think she hopefully she's got it live on her YouTube. Philly, CJ does a great job. He walks about people. Yeah, well, let's not keep going on about CJ and how good he is. Okay, he's been bigged up. All right, this is a Freedom Dad channel, guys. I'm joking. I think CJ does a great job. He walks about, and people is coming to him. Then we have Freedom Dad asking for interview, but they won't. So who is on the right side? You can go live and chat. They won't. Won't. Yeah, I got that, mate. I got that. Oh, good BG. I'm glad you liked it. Good one, Debs. Yeah. Yeah, you need to buy me 100 coffees to get me email, mate. Oh, dear. Jerry Kelly on policing board. Well, let's not talk about him anymore. Super snatcher, right? I'm more worried about women getting sworn into the government using Quran. Don't start me, don't start me. But yeah, wee bit bunkers. Lindsay's live. There's Lindsay's live there, guys. So what I would do right now is click on that, subscribe, and then come back. Then you can watch it later, or you can just go and watch it now. What am I on? 54 minutes. I am only going to do an hour, guys, because, you know, again, yes, 3 hours, 3.5 hours last night live. And, you know, I ended up fucking having a drink, didn't I? And I didn't get fucking in till 2. And, yeah, back up this morning, not feeling great, as you can imagine. Sore head, lay about, feeling sorry for myself. And then I realised I had half an hour to get everything ready. And then I realised I hadn't had, my gimbal wasn't here, my battery pack wasn't here. You know what I mean? Just came home without everything, you know what I mean? My phone, my baseball cap. But yeah, I had a good night with people who I care a lot about. And yeah, you know, Caitlin was there, and Johnny, who I've met, I interviewed at the bonfire, one of the Northdown Defenders flute band guys and bonfire builder. But yeah, it was a good wee night. I was thinking more along the lines of footage live captured by patriots. There'd be a lot of trolls and spam. As for the police, we have to assume and work on the basis that they see everything. Now, just saying yous are a double act at the protests. Shinners are shinning it. Jerry is being ruled out. Oh, I know. I know, mate. I know. Who was that? Demo. I know, mate. James Kelly. Is there any way I can get into a live with you, bro? James Kelly. Are you really related to Jerry by any chance? Or are you, Jerry? Yeah, hook me up on Messenger, mate, on Facebook, if the, and or send me an email, and I'll get in touch with you. And I'm quite sure I can arrange that if that's what you want. Love you, Freedom Dad coverage at the Bangor Parade was brilliant. Happy days. Glad you liked it. Keep up the great work. Hello, Lady J. How you doing? I know, Demo. I did feel a wee bit like Spielberg. I'm saying more Quentin Tarantino, you know what I mean? Or Guy Ritchie, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like to bring the good footage. I like to, you know, it's, you know, I just imagine what I would like to see. You know, pretty selfish, and it seems to work. Callie, all good, mate. EBFD, top man, top friend, Freedom Dad. The EBFD, East Belfast, first, you know who, is in the house. So say hello, guys. Don't put the full name out there, because fucking trust me, you know what I mean. It's like, you know, it's like that film, you know, the scary film where you couldn't say a certain name. I can't remember what it was because I'm not in the scary films. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can message you on Messenger about mental health issues. Of course you can, mate. You message me anything like that, I will give you my phone number and I will give you an hour of my time. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Yeah. Cheers, mate. But yeah, yeah, I'm not going to say too much, you know. I think it's self-explanatory. And yeah, it is what it is, guys. You know what I mean? I know the guys, and they're all amazing guys. You know what I mean? And they just do things a bit differently, and they just talk from the street. You know, it's just stuff you don't get anywhere else because you don't live in Belfast. You know, and if you watch the videos that these guys do, you're getting a bit of Belfast. It's not fake. It's not made up. You know, it's real life. You know, it's passion. Passion on another level. And the government don't want to see that passion. They call it racist. They call it far right. They call it hateful. You know, when young men and young women, young fathers and young mothers are standing there, you know, giving off about something that they feel passionate about, they feel a reason to get off their seats and come out on the street and shout about, then, you know, that's it. Self-explanatory. You know, the policemen come from wherever they live in our areas, you know, and behave the way they behave. They don't have to live in our areas. So it's down to the people that live in the areas. Nobody can judge them people because they don't live in the areas where all this is happening. You know, like, I'm just going to say this right now, what the EBFD, as you have seen with the video I put up, with what you get if when you watch Freedom Dad, and there was a wee clip with the two cops walking in, and I was saying, how you doing, boys? And they're like, all right. I was like, big presents and all. And, yeah, hear me, see you out every night. Quite a lot of you keeping the people safe. And they're like, yeah, all chuffed. I'm like, well, yeah, well, it's good that you're doing that, you know. And it was because of the EBFD. And, you know, so to be honest with you guys, the EBFD came out, and there was a few different people involved in the whole thing, the TikTok thing, right? All different guys done different camera work, different guys done different auditing, but Pinky got the blame of it all, you know what I mean? And so they were doing some amazing stuff, and I mean visual stuff, you know, they were getting parts of Belfast and just bringing it alive with footage and video with music behind it, and it was good, it was entertaining, it looked good, good production, and the boys were there for a reason, you know, and they weren't just there. And I give you my word, on my mother's grave, they, like the media keep trying to say, and anybody calling in the Nolan show and what Nolan's trying to put out, and Alison Morrison, they are not just stopping people of foreign coloured skin or whatever you want to call it, man. It's nonsense, you know. It just happens to be that's the men who are loitering about these areas, you know, and it is what it is, you know. They brought that, highlighted that, and then the next thing, the East Belfast police started doing their own TikToks, like more or less doing Facebook stuff in the same places that Pinky and all them boys were, you know what I mean? Taking photographs of the underlays and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just ironic, very, very ironic. And the behaviour of the police was really embarrassing, really, really embarrassing. You know, it was like, come on, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was a show of presence, and they took photographs, put it all on Facebook, like East Belfast Police out patrolling the area. You know, East Belfast First Division were all over the fucking news. They were all over. Everybody was talking about them. It was Nolan, papers, everybody and their uncle. As this is going on, the police are then coming out on the street and doing exactly what they were doing. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's how crazy it all is, you know what I mean, in Northern Ireland, Belfast right now. And yeah, fair play to them. Big respect, guys. Yeah, I heard young Bob's been arrested. Farty pants. Is that, are you being funny? Are you from South Belfast, EBFD? Is that a joke? East Belfast. EB stands for East Belfast. Oh dear, I love these guys. Any excuse for arrest him? Gary, and he's only 17, I know. I know, CJ. Sean Scullion has a Republican burnt out from Ardoyne in 1970 and supported Sinn Féin all my life, but never again. I support Patriots. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. And, you know, it was a long time ago, and, you know, it's not my place to apologise, but I do have sympathies for anybody that's been put out of home. But it was on both sides, and we have moved on, mate. And it speaks volumes of the man that you are to be able to come on to my platform, give that information out, and still say that you support Patriots. And like I say, I support you, mate. You know what I mean? You want to get in touch, get a chat, I'm here. Tolerant spamming again. Yeah, I don't use shampoo at all. You know, I've probably about 3 years now, I've never touched shampoo. One of them ones seen a YouTube video, you know what I mean? It was like, whoa, that'll do. Yeah, and it is what it is, man. 55, still got a good head of hair, and it's not greasy or nothing like that. Just hot water, guys. Just hot water is all you need. I was so excited. I think it takes 90 days. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. Your hair has to go through a process. It cleans itself. But you've got to let the chemicals build up that your hair have, you know, because you're washing the chemicals out with the shampoo all the time. So you've got to let that process go back, let the chemicals come back that naturally clean your hair. I was so excited I was in Belfast. Yes, Lady J is flowing. Hope you're enjoying yours. Yeah, David, Nick, I'm going to look into you, Bob. So I am. 40 pants, I was teasing. But put a smiley face. And then I'll laugh. I will laugh. I wasn't too sure, you know. Kieran, Freedom Dad covers the issues Nolan gets paid millions to ignore, and he does it for free too. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. But I want to also say as well, I want to say thank you to everybody that came up and put a tenner and 20 quid in my hand today. Remarkable, really, really remarkable, and I'm really, really appreciative. And it's not something I'll never hide or not talk about. Genuinely, I'm absolutely humbled. And like, please believe me, we are all struggling right now. You do not have to do these things. You know what I mean? I'm all right. I've got a roof over my head. I'm eating, and you know, I've got people that drive me. I think I've been in 4 different cars in the last 4 days. You know what I mean? But like I say, any money given to me, it pays for petrol and it'll pay for my rent. You know, give something back to people that are giving to me, and it's just thank you. You know what I mean? And Lucky needs a pram. Lucky needs a pram, so she does. And I think it's on Dad to buy it. Just go bald. It's easier, LOL. Yeah, CJ. I don't. But this is the thing, CJ. You'll go on holiday and still be doing content. Fuck, you can guarantee it. You'll probably end up in a Spanish jail or something, or wherever you go. You know what I mean? We'll be on the news. Northern Ireland auditor arrested in Thailand. Fucking sticking a fucking camera into some cop's face. Thank you, Davy. I'm away to pick the wee up for work. If you're on when I get back, all good. If not, see you the next time. Give us a wee shout later if you want, mate. You're a voice for the people. You deserve it, buddy. Thank you, man. I wish it was a voice for all the people. That's the thing, you know what I mean? But maybe one day. But this is the thing, you know what I mean? This is where he's going with this as well. He knows everybody's talking about the Patriots. Everybody's talking about Freedom Dad. Everybody's talking about CJ. Everybody's talking about Pinky. You know what I mean? And everybody's talking about the EBFD. And everybody's talking about the Glengormy. Everybody's talking about Portadown. Everybody's talking about the Shankill. You know what I mean? So yeah, everybody's talking about everything that's happening around us right now, and that's why he does what he does, because he's wanting people to listen. He's getting views. The more views he gets, the more money he gets, more likely. I don't know if it's a fixed wage or what, but I imagine he wouldn't last very long if he wasn't getting the views. You know what I mean? They would replace him, just like the good people of England have been replaced. Yes, Sean, you're right. You're right, mate. We have a big problem with the far left, and has been nothing to do with the Fabian Society, as everybody's starting to pick up on now. And it has infiltrated every part of our society, you know what I mean, from schools, education, hospitals, and social work, you know, home office, every part of society that we rely on. The most damaging is education, schools, and universities. We're sort of on top of it a wee bit in Northern Ireland with some of our schools, you know what I mean, because our parents are very, very clever, and they're not budging an inch on anything. Anything inappropriate comes up in any of our schools, we're on it. So yeah, we are keeping an eye on a couple of schools right now that are being transferred from Northern Irish schools with Northern Irish kids in them to complete, not early, almost full of foreigners, foreign children, you know what I mean? So we are keeping an eye on that, because that gives us an idea how quick things will move, you know what I mean? We are keeping an eye on churches and stuff like that, and mosques that are popping up, because that'll give us an idea as well how quickly and, you know, how fast things will move, along with the crime rate of what these foreigners bring with them. It has been noticing as well. So everything that we know that will affect us and our children and our grandchildren, we're paying close attention to it right now, because we know this is our 15 years. You know, this is where Tommy was 15 years ago, guys. You know what I mean? Maybe 20 years ago, you know, maybe even 25 years ago, when Tommy was young, he would have seen what was going on. And then as he became into the football, guys, and becoming a teenager and in his 20s, you know, that's when he really became active to try and stop what he could see what was happening. And this is our 15 years, guys, you know what I mean? And it's reality. It's not fake. It's not false. It's not misinformation. You know, Islam come in has a smiling, friendly face, you know, because they're a minority. But once they become the majority, it changes, you know what I mean? And we see that over and over again. We see with the councils in England, we see how they're behaving in Parliament and what they expect, how they're wanting to bring out laws to stop us criticising their religion. That's fucking nuts. That's fucking mental. Could you imagine Scientology coming out and saying, right, we're going to bring out laws, you know, again, so you can't criticise Scientology at all, you know? It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's like the most violent and most brutal religion that we've ever seen or heard of. Me personally, entertainment and educational purposes only. This is the opinions of me growing up in Belfast and what I see as a young man being, you know, aware of what's going on in the world. This is another level of horror that these guys bring to places, you know, and it's remarkable that anybody can say with a straight face that Islam is a religion of peace. Fucking you nuts. Fucking hell, get yourself the fuck. You know what I mean? That's like, this is what Khan and Stormer and all these headers and Ireland are all saying to us. You know, oh, we need to bring in Islamophobia laws. Aye, that'll be right. You think we'll go to jail before you shut us up? We will stand over bridges with posters, you know, if we have to. We will write on every single wall in every part of Northern Ireland if you think you're going to shut us up. You know what I mean? If you honestly think you're going to come into this country and tell us Islam is a religion of peace, and then tell us if we criticise it, we're going to go to jail. Fucking jail is, you know. That's what the people don't know. That's a message to the mainstream. That's a message to the mainland, you know. Try it. Fucking try it in Northern Ireland, you know. Us Christians aren't putting up with nothing like that. You're mental. Yeah, I don't even think the Catholics would put up with it, and I'm talking about the dissidents. You know, I really am. You probably got a few that would go along with it because they're nuts, you know what I mean? But I think the majority would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? So, yeah. I just think there's other religions out there that should get that award, you know? You know, out of all the religions, if we're going to give an award out like that, this is the religion of peace. This is the one and only religion of peace. Out of all the religions, Islam is the religion of peace. Right? Can you think of any other religions in this world? Right? And there's many. Buddhism, you know, there's loads and loads. You know, who deserves it? It's no Islam. Come on, guys. It's comical. But this is the Fabian. This is the far left. This is them replacing. This is them. This is all part of the tactics. You know, bringing in these mental Islamists, fucking hardline that follow the Quran to the letter, you know, brought the Quran into the abuse of the children in England, you know, and our government are like, yeah, you can't criticise that. No bar. Okay, no bar. So Labour won't be around for long. We'll see where Reform go with this, carry on, you know what I mean? But yeah, Reform are getting ready. We're getting ready for an election. So I don't know if he's noticed, Freelance was over in America getting questioned in as a commerce or I can't remember the name of it, Bugsy. But he was getting. You've seen that. You know what I'm talking about. It's a common thing that happens in America where they sit and all these politicians grill whoever it is sitting there. So yeah, that's a sign that there's going to be an election soon. That's Nigel Farage being like GB News, being on GB News with his own slot. You know, the only political leader ever in our time to ever have their own slot. You know, pure favoritism, like mainstream, that the establishment really want Nigel Farage, you know what I mean? And then they've got him in America now, talking about Labour and how bad they are and all. So there's an election coming, and yeah, going to be interesting. You know, I really do hope I'm wrong about Reform. You know, I really do. I hope America just grabs him by the back and neck, lifts him up, shakes him a wee bit, puts him back down, and he comes back to his senses. I'm hoping that the people who are controlling him, the people who are maybe attacking him by his money or he's compromised in some way, I'm hoping by the end the Americans will be able to take over that sort of deep state, you know, like they've done getting rid of the Bidens and all that in America and took control of complete right wing and sensible politics is what we'll call it. And I'm hoping that that's the kind of thing. With Farage working with America, I imagine America are going to take control, to be honest with you, and help us with the freedom of speech. Well, that's going to be good in the long run. I don't know. I really don't know. But I know Trump is invested in Ireland and Scotland and has a lot of time for us, you know what I mean? So we'll see where it goes, but definitely get ready for an election. There's something happening with Rayner going. The polls showing that nobody, everybody's the song Stormers, you know what? All the videos are going about. There's not. I mean, we're being represented by a government that doesn't represent us. You know, they're doing everything opposite to what they should be doing for our country, and everybody sees that now, and it's time for them to go. But like I say, is reform the answer? I don't think so, but you never know. So I'm looking forward to Nuri. I'm looking forward to watching the Nuri thing now. I know, pray like crazy that nothing happens to Trump. Yeah, well, I think we've got our vice president. Tired. I'm tired. I'm very tired. But you know who I'm talking about. This will only remain peaceful for as long as Northern Ireland has history of not taking shit. Yeah, I keep trying to say that, but and the direction the police and the government are going and the media towards us is not going to help. It's not going to help, you know. JD Vance, thank you, Colin. JD Vance. We've got JD Vance, sir. I've got a lot of faith in him as well, so do you, mate. So if anything happens to Trump, you know, he's the next man to step up. And I would like to think that barring Trump, you know, would be next in line one day to be a president because, you know, he's quite a remarkable young man. So he is. Thank you, right to be right, JD Vance. You're bang on, yep. Yeah, your man Niall was it. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to watching it. He does seem to champion free speech, Colin, but you know, they're politicians. You know what I mean? We've got to talk and take everything with a pinch of salt, you know what I mean? Niall McConnell, yes. Can't tell who it is. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. You can forgive me. But tomorrow's Sunday, I will be rested tomorrow. I have got a lot of editing to do, but I am gonna get a good sleep tonight. Hopefully get a wee bit of a lie in. And sort of relax tomorrow a wee bit, hopefully, unless I get a phone call. If the girls in Shankill want me to come up and interview them, I'm up for that tomorrow, like, but probably, yeah, just take it easy. So I'll be fresh tomorrow night, guys. Even if I do an interview in the Shankill or whatever, I'll still be fresh, you know what I mean, for tomorrow night. I will have a good show. I'm going to make you all yawn. I will get a good chat, so we will. Good night and God bless, yeah. Yes, Philip, yep, hopefully, mate. I know, Alan, I know. Yeah, cheers, Sean Scotty. We don't need to hit the like button, guys. There's been enough like buttons in the last fucking 48 hours, you know what I mean? And you have done me proud, and I'm really grateful. They buy me coffees and everything, absolutely amazing, you know what I mean? And just for the support, just being there and watching for 3 hours, you know what I mean? Whatever. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, it is a wee bit different. That is a lot different than what I do, but it's in my community. You know, these are my friends, people I know, and all these bands. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm not going to not cover it. You know what I mean? That's always going to get priority. It's what I got brought up with, and you know, was in the bands since I was a wee boy. I was in the Orange Order before that. So it's just part of my life, and you know, I want to film it in a different way and bring it in a different way and different angles instead of just one single camera watching all the bands go by. Folks, I'll be live soon, so jump over, please. There you go. CJ's going live. CJ, I'll try and jump in, say hello and that, mate, but I am exhausted, mate, and I want to catch up with some other ones, and you can just let them know what you've been up to and whatnot, you know what I mean, and you do your thing. So yeah, guys, anybody want to jump on the CJ Audits channel, thank you for taking over, CJ, as well. Because it's good. Because there's a lot of our guys, some people, these guys don't get out. There's some people with disabilities and all that, you know what I mean? And they just enjoy watching CJ and myself and the crack, you know what I mean? Not much crack in it because I'm tired. And just been a lot of pressure the last couple of weeks as well. Thanks, Freedom Dad, for all the coverage, buddy. Hopefully meet with you sometime soon at the protest. Enjoy the new but I will demo. And it has been a lot of pressure because it's been people close to me that's getting affected, you know what I mean? You know, Pinky's a good friend, you know what I mean? And we've been there for each other, you know, equally right down the middle, you know what I mean? And I never ever avoid or try and dismiss anything like that when people have been by you through thick and thin, you know, when everybody else is falling away for whatever reason, you know what I mean? I always recognize that. And yeah, it's been difficult. what he's been going through, then what Stevie's been going through, and then with Ryan getting arrested on the way back from Ballymena, and the papers articles and the TikToks getting done by journalists, and then all the hate from the Republican sites and the Irish news and the Republican news, and it's just non-stop. I had a couple of chats with a couple of guys the other day there, and they were like, something came up, and it was like nothing to do with me, sort of thing, you know what I mean? And they were like, I think you're being used as a scapegoat. I was like, fucking, do you think so? You know what I mean? My name is getting put about like for everything, you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm going to say this again to anybody that cares. We are not here to step on anybody's toes. We're not here to take over. We're not here going into anybody's lanes. We are citizen journalists all doing our different things, and we find it hard enough not to jump into each other's lanes, never mind fucking anything outside that. So yeah, as far as the camera work is concerned, people have got to relax, be proud of who you are. Don't be afraid of the camera. You're on camera. As soon as you walk out of your house, you're on camera every 5-6 steps, you know what I mean, in most cases with Ring doorbells and then surveillance cameras, CCTV cameras and all the rest. So yeah, you've got nothing to hide from Freedom Dad. Freedom Dad's here for my community, and that's it. I'm not here to get you into trouble. If you do not want on camera, tell me, I can't blur out everybody's face, but in some cases I can maybe do it if it isn't live, you know what I mean? So I do work with people, and I do adjust things for people, because I'm not here to cause problems, you know what I mean? But like I say, people got to relax. We're here for one cause only, and that's to bring awareness of mass immigration, the damage it's done in England, the damage it's doing in Ireland, and why there's no need for it in Northern Ireland. It's as simple as that, guys. And that's it. We have Protestants and Catholics and all the rest of it, bring them together and trying to find a harmonious movement called patriotism, where we can all be together with one goal and not be divided. And let's see how it goes. That's a wee experiment, I suppose. Let's see how strong we are. Let's see how powerful we become, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's out there for a lot of people. A lot of people cannot see that day and can never understand that day. But, Freedom Dad knows that day's coming. Not in our time, maybe not even our kids' time, but it will be coming. And I just want us to prepare for it now. I want us to talk about stuff like this now, so our kids aren't getting caught out, and our grandchildren aren't getting caught out in the future. And they're not getting their bonfires and 12th of July and Easter uprisings and hunger strike stuff a threat. That's it, guys, you know what I mean? Nothing more, nothing less, not racist, not far right. Just a love for Ulster, a love for my community, and a love for everything that I grew up with as a wee boy in Belfast. That's it. So thank you all so much, guys. Tomorrow will be a relaxing day. I will be coming doing a live tomorrow night. I will be doing editing. There will be stuff going out, I imagine, on YouTube and TikTok as the day progresses. And yeah, have a good night, guys. And as always, I'm not going to do the Waltons because I'm too tired. I apologise, but 82 minutes, that's no bad. Listen, guys, all my love. CJ Otis is going live right now. I will jump onto the comments for a wee bit. So yeah, let's jump into CJ Otis. God bless.